We're having a case of deja vu tonight, and we're talking all about Deja's history, and she's back with Randall and Beth, so stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Ooh, we got some deja vu going on in the house. So I'm going to play that up all night long if I can. It's just fun. Oh my God. What is up, guys? We are in the home stretch. We got one episode left of This Is Us. Guys, I love this show, and I think that it's coming to a good, slow but steady ending to leave us off for a little hiatus. What do you think?
Kate's wedding!
We're not even there yet, and that's all she can think about. Kate's wedding. We gotta get through Deja first.
I love weddings.
I mean, I do too. I love some good weddings, but I also love a good heartwarming story about Deja coming home. What is up, guys? Thank you so much for joining us for This Is Us After Show on AfterBuzz TV. My name is Candice Cruz, and I got my other two over here.
Hey guys, I'm Lina Noory, and we have Keith back.
Yes, Keith Andre here. It feels like forever. Oh my God.
I missed you.
I know, we're separated.
We're so far. Hey, you know what? I had him the whole season.
The whole
and
time.
Now you took him from me, okay?
It's okay.
Oh, he's sitting next to me. I'm like, how did I take him from you?
Right.
I already cry enough as it is with this show. I can't cry anymore.
And we miss you, Erica. She's in the chat.
Yes,
Hi, Erica.
She is. Change is different, but it's good. I think that, like you said, it's a nice close. I feel like we've been on such like a train ride, and I'm excited. And I'm excited for the wedding. I know you have all this wedding fever just because you've been in all these weddings.
Yeah. I mean, everyone
out and about. She's all over her IG.
Everyone I know has been getting married. There's a wedding last weekend. My best friend's getting married in 3 weeks. But aside from that, I think in almost every single episode, we've all been talking about how we want to hear Deja's backstory. We've been been given little short glimpses. So I'm all about this week's episode. It was almost bittersweet. You get to finally learn about her, but it's so sad to see what this poor girl has been through. And it makes you reflect on your childhood. Like, we were allowed to be kids. I mean, I had stuff that, we've all gone through. I was bullied, there's situations with my parents and stuff like that. But to see this girl really kind of be robbed of her childhood. I mean, her own mother said it, that since she was 5, her mom has been telling her, Sean has been telling her, like, how would I do this without you? That's too much pressure.
It is, and I think that the way that they're showing the foster care system and the light of how many places these kids go and they're in and out. But I will say, as much as Deja went through, it's so unfortunate that she didn't get to have a real childhood. But I will say that she is one of the most resilient children that I have seen. And I think that that's a huge commendable thing of her own personality. Because it wasn't the nature versus nurture. It was literally herself figuring it out as a child. And like, I commend a lot of young people that have gone through foster care system that have made something of themselves and have taken that adversity and turned it into something that can be a triumph.
Yeah, and I think it does a good job of showing that side of it as well. I mean, for Deja, they said it. She is a special girl, and we got to see just how special she is and what she's been through. And I think the biggest part of the show, and this episode in particular, is just like that connective tissue of the oneness of like the human experience, because we saw in each person's life, we would flash from Deja to the Pearsons to just everybody who's dealing with this struggle, and how do we kind of get an outcome that's favorable.
You know what's interesting is she reminds me so much of Randall. I was expecting to see a lot of flashes comparing her, like Deja, to Randall, and more or less we kind of saw flashes of everybody. We saw like the scene where she's embracing her mom, or Shauna, and then the scene where Kate's embracing her mom right after her miscarriage. But really, I think I wanted to see a lot more correlation between Randall and Deja, because I feel like since childhood, Randall was very similar in that sense, where they're always concerned about everyone else's feelings, taking care of everyone else around them. So I would have loved to see that kind of comparison, but just the look on Randall's face, like when she's going to bed, that was priceless.
Yeah.
And what I did like about it, as much, I completely agree with you. I wish I would have seen a little bit more like juxtaposition between, Randall's character and Deja. But what I did like is like it kind of came full circle at the very end. And I know we're jumping around a little bit, but the fact that she said, I've thought about it more and more. And like when you told me that I remind a lot of you. I thought it was weird, but when I thought about it, I realized like everybody sleeps. And I think that part, when she says that, kind of enlightens why they did all of this, because everybody gives birth. Everyone has, there's a circle of life. Everyone has their moments with their parents, whatever that may be. Everyone has death. Everyone has everything. So I think the reason why they were doing so many different flashes between everyone's different experiences in life is to show that everyone does have shared experiences. The human condition is all the same. It's just the different situations that we've gone through. But what I also did like is re-seeing some of the scenes that we've already seen with Deja and the Pearsons and realizing a whole different perspective. It's all about perspective, because we now see like I hated Shauna, and then I see the reality of who Shauna is as a person, and I felt for Shauna.
Yeah.
I wanted her to be successful. I wanted her to come out on top, and like you see the humanality between all of them, you know?
Yeah, and I agree, and I think, you know, maybe we should just start from the beginning of the episode, because there was so much about Shauna that it's kind of maybe how we don't really like Miguel, and we don't really see his side, is that we see Shauna's side. And as I'm getting to see her as a mother and how she's tried so hard, how she genuinely loves Deja.
Yeah.
And at the same token, that pressure of her always saying, like, what would I do without you? And just all of that stuff. So, I mean, let's just start from the beginning of them, like in the scenes, especially when they're both in the foster house. I forget the other girl's name. What was the girl's name that she was in the foster house with?
I don't know if they said.
don't
Did they ever say her name?
They did, but I can't remember. If someone in the chat knows her name, throw that in there.
But from the very
Candice
beginning...
Cryometer, I'm sorry. Cryometer? Am I saying that right?
Probably cryometer.
Cryometer?
Or cryometer.
But from the very beginning, just in that scene of the two girls in the bunk bed and the foster father that beats them, and the girl saying that I would rather... Raven?
Thank you.
Raven looking at Deja and just saying, I would rather deal with this abuse, and have the same bed to sleep in. It's like the lesser of two evils. I mean, that just, honestly, it broke my heart.
As for Cryometer, I mean, this was a solid, like, 6. I wouldn't put it super high, because I feel like those were the moments that I did cry. But I think this episode was so much more heartwarming when we look at the positives. But like that whole coming from bed to bed and like being hit and having to go through that, like that's a reality, man.
Yeah.
Like I've never thought of that.
Yeah, and I think this episode was super relatable. Like for me, I'm definitely not a big crier. I'll leave the tears to you. But
that's a lot of tears. She could take mine too.
Right? But personally, I could find myself being impacted by just like the experience of like seeing like other mothers with children. Like I have an older sister who has 2 kids, and to see her, she's by no means is her similar to Shauna, but to see someone who you think could be a better parent, and for them not to be able to see it, or not to be able to see the necessary steps to kind of put their child or their children first to make decisions that are gonna, you know, make their lives better. So that's kind of what was in my head, especially near, and I don't want to jump to the end, but near the end where we saw Shauna kind of decide like, oh, you know, seeing that she needs to be here and I need to go so that she can get what she needs out of life.
And it's so hard to be a parent. I mean, I've never been in that situation. I can only imagine. And I mean, I would love to have that in the future, but to put that much pressure on your child and you don't know it, like that Shauna automatically, the moment that her grandmother passed and Deja's great grandmother passed, like this pressure of like, I need you. Not just like, I love you, you're my child, but I need you to survive. That's such a weight for a child to carry.
It is. And like you said, unknowingly, because I don't think she didn't realize it until the end that it was this mass amount of pressure that you're putting on your child. Yeah. So.
And we all forget, I mean, we just obviously learned this now, is that Shauna got pregnant in her teens.
She was 16.
She was 16. It's not a lot older than where Deja is now, or I think it's actually pretty similar in age. So we're expecting a child to know how to raise a child. And I feel like Shauna did the best of her abilities given, you know, her situation. She spent her teens trying to raise a child. There's a lot of other, you know, women that would have resorted to like giving their child up. I feel like Shauna, at least seeing her backstory, tried. She tried to be a good mother. She tried her best. I know it's funny. I was watching a flash of they brought Roseanne back, and there's like a funny scene where she's like, "There's not a book on parenting," and she's like, "There's thousands of books," but really there isn't a book on parenting. I think Shauna did the best of her ability given her situation, given the fact that she was a single mother in her teens giving birth. And I feel like she kind of made it up as she went along, and it took that realization of seeing the way her daughter felt, like, hey, mom, is it okay? Like, hey, is it okay, Rebecca? Can I go? No, sorry, not Rebecca. Hey, is it okay, Beth? Can I just go sleep in my bed, like her normal bed? I think Shauna seeing that, she was like, wow, I've never seen my daughter like this. And maybe it was a kind of like an outer body experience for her to finally put her daughter first. But I think she did all that she knows.
And not only that, I think you can do your best.
I think I kind of disagree a little bit.
Yeah, I disagree a little bit. I think on one hand, she, took the cards that she was dealt and she tried to do what she could. Granted, I think that knowing what she knows now, she would do things differently, and she can see how differently she could do them. I think for her, it was about like having this growing process of where she was young, and you have to realize, hey, I need to put my child first and not a man, or you know what I mean? Like all these different circumstances that you could have avoided and kind of had a better life, but because of your situation or because of what you kind of fell into, you're left here. And now from here, I have to decide what my best is going to be.
Well, yeah, she's by no means perfect, by the way. Like,
no,
not at all.
But I think also, too, is that we never got to see Shauna's mom. So where's her mom in the picture? So that makes me think, like, what was Shauna's upbringing? Her grandmother brought her up.
Yeah.
So, like, not having a positive influence. And at the age of 16, like, her grandmother did all that she could, but, like, she made... and the reason why I say I disagree is, like, she did what she could with the cards that were dealt, but she could have done way better. Let's be real here, because I don't care if you're 16, I don't care if you're 15, I don't care if you're 45. Like, when you have a child, your life stops. That's it. Like, that's just the way it should be. Like, you do all that you can, and, like, I don't think that she really did until she realized, like, oh shit, my water is getting turned off, or my gas is getting turned off, till the very end. Like, the fact that Deja went to the hospital and sliced her hand open because she didn't come home in time. Like, she didn't do what she could do. And I've had teenage friends that have had kids, and they are the best parents ever.
Right.
Because they work their butts off for it, and they realize that they got themselves in the situation, and they make something out of it rather than a situation.
I think you guys are misunderstanding what I'm saying. I don't think she gets the Parent of the Year award. I'm just saying that we didn't see how she was raised. We didn't see what her example of a mother figure was, that there are teens that have drug use and are junkies and are using their kids, or their kids are getting molested at home. I'm not saying that she was by any means an amazing parent at all. I mean, that's not, I don't think anyone even questions that here. I'm just now, because I'm seeing her angle of it, and I actually see how much she really wanted to be a good parent. Yes, she shouldn't have taken that money and bailed out the guy that she was dating. There's tons of things she shouldn't have done. The list can go on. My whole point is that I feel like she wanted to at least try to be a good mother.
She wanted, yes.
The wanting and the actually doing are two different
things.
And I
yes.
think that's what it comes down to. In terms of her upbringing, we didn't necessarily need to see her upbringing, because we did see her grandmother, and we saw the role that her grandmother played in her life. And I think what was like a disadvantage to Shauna is the fact that her grandmother was still taking care of her, and she was taking care of her child. Yeah. Like in the beginning, she was, you know what I mean? She came in and she's like, why is this baby left alone? And she's reading to her and all of this. So she never had to raise Deja until her grandmother passed, and then by that time Deja was raising her doggone
She was 5.
So yeah,
5 years old.
Isn't that insane?
My God. Well, guys, I know that we always have really intense, deep conversations on this show, and that's why I love you guys so much on this panel, and I love like really delving into this. And I think that we have so many amazing places on AfterBuzz to have great conversations, and we want to offer you another one. You want to have fun and learn and grow in all areas of your life. So if you do, we have another podcast for you. Conversations with Maria Menounos podcast edition is hosted by our AfterBuzz TV founder, Maria Menounos. Yay! I love her. And she looked fabulous on the red carpet for Oscars, just saying. But it's going to drop every Friday on iTunes, which is amazing. So Conversations with Maria Menounos features celebrity and influencer interviews, along with secrets and tips on how to be better in all aspects of your life. Maybe Shauna should have listened to it, just saying. Yeah. From health and wellness to career and relationships, finances, and more. Let Maria be the big sister you never had. Just go to iTunes and subscribe to Conversations with Maria Menounos for free. And be sure to rate and comment like you should do on this video as well. And when you do, let Maria know it was us who got you there. Conversations with Maria Menounos podcast edition So go check it out.
And you guys, she really is amazing. If
Yes.
it wasn't for her, we all wouldn't be here having this
Honestly.
format. And then also, she's been through so much this last year.
Exactly. Hello. Who doesn't want to have a conversation with her?
Right?
Listen, I've had a few conversations with her, and it's been super funny.
You just
It's
listen.
hilarious.
Like when she talks, you listen. It's
Yeah.
like she's just an amazing human being. So thank you to Maria for giving us a platform to even talk about This Is Us. And so go and check her out now. But yeah, sorry I had to throw that in there a little bit for This Is Us. But
Okay.
yeah,
Always here for a good conversation.
I know. I love me some good conversation. And I mean, Randall and Deja were having some great conversation at the end.
Yeah, and I love their little like relationship. You know, even
Yes.
from seeing last week where he was so concerned with the phone call and all of that, to this week we got to see the backstory.
And he knew something was up.
Yeah, his instinct was there. So I really
Well, he's
love
also
their dynamic.
paranoid as hell. So if you're that paranoid, like at least 50% of the time you're gonna be right.
right.
If you're always making
Right.
sure the world's over, you have a 50% chance of being right.
Yeah.
Oh God, I hope the world isn't over. Please don't. No, no,
Right.
no. But yeah, no, I loved seeing, and as well to see Beth and Randall open up their home like that. Like,
I thought that was what? You
Right?
and your child.
we're gonna open.
I
our
thought she
home
was
to
moving
you.
in. I thought Shauna was for sure. No, I'm kidding. I knew Shauna wasn't going to move in. But remember, I said well, you weren't here last week, but in predictions, we
Yeah.
talked about how I thought for sure he was going to give them a place
Yeah, you
at
did.
the new complex. I mean, he still could probably give the mom a
right.
place. But, you know, we saw that she obviously realized. But let's talk about how she's just going to bounce. Like, she's not even going to say bye, which I understand because she's always, as we just talked about, put so much pressure, making Deja feel like,
Yeah.
oh, poor me. So I know she wants to leave without making Deja have to have that decision on whether she should leave or stay. But I hope to God, like, she leaves a note or something explaining, because
I think that she has to find some way to say goodbye. I feel like we saw that moment, and maybe Randall will tell her like the importance or significance of her like saying something to Deja.
then she will.
Yeah, hopefully. But I think for her as a parent, I don't think that she could face like having to say goodbye to her child
And
and go through
sometimes
with it.
you have to have space. Like you have to let that heal and then come back and be like, I'm sorry that I did X, Y, and Z. It was for the best. Sometimes just
Yeah.
leaving is like,
And even
not the
for,
best alternative, but you know.
And even for Deja, because in that conversation with Randall where she's like, I'm tired. And I
Oh.
think that she doesn't want to be the one to separate from her mother. So she'll appreciate kind of having that relief and her mom taking the reins and saying, I'm going to go.
You know what's something that I noticed when we were watching the episode is that there's no judgment coming from Beth or Randall.
None.
There's none.
Beautiful.
I told you
Great
so. No,
Yeah.
making her like, even in the little scene where they're making the beds, and then Deja says, "Is it okay if I sleep in my old bed?" And then she goes upstairs. They're talking about track. They're talking about cheerleading. She's talking about Beth's telling her about how she likes some guy in high school, just as if
They're friends.
It's
They're
nor-
friends.
Right. It's perfectly fine.
Zero judgment, zero of those side comments like "I told you so" or "Had you just left her." And I think that's so beautiful that they can have so much self-control to not be like, "I told you so." And Beth is usually, especially in this case, remember she was a little bit more passionate about the situation. And even Randall, just even when he went upstairs, didn't force the topic on Deja.
Yeah.
Didn't say, "So is this what the phone call was about?" And maybe we'll get those conversations later, but it was just kind of like, you have those family members that you go maybe 5 or 10 years without seeing them, then you see them and it's like nothing happened.
Yep.
I felt like that's what it was like when Deja came in the house.
Right.
Like, no
Don't
time has
skip a
passed.
beat.
Yeah.
Just skip a beat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even them watching the movie, the dinner, it was almost like a little bit too quiet. I was like, is someone
It
going to
was-
say something?
Yeah, it was a little outside of the box. It's not something that we think that we'll see like in real life. But I thought it was so good for Shauna to have that experience as well with them, to
Right.
really see like, this is where you're leaving your child. You know, like this is a good thing. This is good for her.
And on top of it, I think it's something that she needed too, because it doesn't seem like Shauna ever had that experience as a person
Yeah.
either. So it could have been cathartic to just have that moment of like, okay, I can just
Yeah.
release, I can have a comfortable home, good meal, even if it was for a short-lived amount of time, but just to be able to have that and realize that there is this happiness and this other side to life rather than everything that she's gone through.
What do you guys think? So I was thinking about this at the conclusion of the show. Shauna getting up and just grabbing her bags and leaving. Do you guys think it's what Deja always talks about, her mom being prideful? Is it a sense of pride that she doesn't even want to stay the night and grabbing her bags and leaving? Or do you guys think that she doesn't want to get too comfortable staying where she is and wants to just, cut the cord, like right in the beginning?
I think she's swallowing her pride, if anything, in my eyes. And the reason why I say that is because, she could have stayed and gone through the whole of like, I don't know, gone through the whole production of it. I don't think it would have been to stay comfortable. I think it's just her swallowing her pride of knowing that this is where Deja needs to be. Because if she was showing her pride, I think she would have stayed and been like, Deja, let's go. And like taken her. That would have been like her.
But taking
holding
her
on
where?
her
Back to the car?
just
Like,
taking her. It's like wherever,
Her.
because that's like her thing. Like, I can do this. Let me do this. Let me take care of my child. Her being like, I can't provide for her. I'm going to let you guys take over. I think that's swallowing your pride, and that's that is being a good mother.
100%.
That right there is being a good mother.
Yeah, I agree. I think that moment is all about her realizing, hey, I have to do what's best for my child. If I stay here any longer, they already have this close relationship. They've been through so much. They face so much together and apart. So I think for her to be there any longer would just, she wouldn't be able to go through with it. I think she did have to cut the cord and just be done with it and try to deal with it away from you. But this is the best decision for Deja.
I hope this isn't the last of Deja's mom we see.
Yeah.
I really would like to know
I think we'll see her
where
again.
she goes from this point. And it's sad, like, where's she going to go? I knowing Randall, he's probably going to offer something. Maybe even money for a hotel or somewhere to stay. I hope he does. I mean, because where's she going to go?
Yeah. Side note, and this is really weird, when you said about like her swallowing it and just kind of like cutting the cord and like dealing with it away. It's almost like the way that Rebecca and just seeing that and hearing that, it makes me think of when Rebecca said, I'm going to deal with this death on my own. I'm going to be strong for my kids. It's almost like her doing the same thing of like, I'm going to deal with my emotions away and I'm going to let her like be where she needs to be and be taken care of. I'm going to deal with my problems over here and be the adult, which was like, really good job.
Yeah.
You guys, I'm dying
Finally.
laughing inside right now thinking of when Deja walks in her room and the plants are all still there and he's saying how it was light and water and Beyonce.
Beyonce.
And then one of the plants is drooping and he had like a name for it. He's like, that's the new kind of plant. It's called the
Hibiscus drupus.
The hibiscus drupus. Like he's cheesy.
So-
he has
and then,
cheesy
yeah.
lines, but they're funny cheesy.
The corn on the cob
You're
one. I
still
was
so
just like-
corny, just right off the cob.
It's like, oh my gosh, I cannot.
Those dad jokes. We need to get Randall. We should get Sterling a shirt that said dad jokes or something on it and send it to him.
Right? I'm excited to see him. I don't want to go off track, but
Yeah, go for
Saturday
it.
Night Live, I think he'll be super duper funny. So I'm looking forward to that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I'm
So I don't know if this question is going to start taking us into predictions, but there's something I was curious about. You know how Rebecca seemed to always have her attention on Randall because he was the adopted kid? Do you guys think, because I remember that, Beth and Randall's original two kids, one of the hesitations of the older daughter was that she thought she was going to get neglected. I noticed that when Randall's around Deja, he just gets like a little kid. He's just smiling, so happy. I don't know if it's the element of him wanting to protect her and make her feel good, but do you guys think he's going to have that whole Rebecca flashes in him where he's actually going to try to overcompensate with Deja?
That's a good question. I want to say no, only because I feel like Randall is just like this perfectly like balanced
He's the perfect
equation. Yeah. And then the difference with him and Rebecca is that he was adopted.
Yeah.
So, he has that layer on as well. I mean, it may be some instances where Beth will like do a joke or have to like remind him you got two other kids here. But I think he'll do a pretty good job of like balancing it out.
Right.
I don't see him like going crazy over Deja. I mean, well, he does go crazy for Deja.
Well, I mean, 'cause he does go crazy. Like, he gets giddy. He
The
starts,
science project
he's
he
smiling
did.
ear to ear. And then on top of that, Randall was adopted as an infant. So he's the same as the rest of the kids. Where Deja, they kind of know her life experiences and what she's been through, especially the fact that he's tapping on a car window, she's sleeping in there. I feel like Randall's the kind of guy that might overcompensate and try to be that extra dad. So it's going to be interesting if that ends up being a parallel.
I think he'll overcompensate. I think he's not going to he is he is not going to neglect the other two, but I do think he will definitely overcompensate.
I don't think your
Deja.
mouth agrees with you. That's why it was.
Right.
You know what? All right. Fine.
And I think he's had a few, in the instances that we've seen him with Deja, we've seen him like overcompensate and then like,
Back
withdraw,
up.
right, to try to find that balance.
I think that's almost every dad. Because
Yeah.
it's like, I want to have a relationship with you, but I'm going to come back and I'm going to come back and it's like a back and forth, especially with a teenager and a teenage girl at that.
Yes.
Ooh, I'm sorry, Dad. I love you.
I will tell you though, I love the fact that when he enters into a room, he says, "May I come in?" I was talking to
I love that.
I was talking to my sister, and we were on an airplane ride, and she reads these books about parenting. And one of the biggest things they talk about is like letting your kids feel like they have their own space. That you don't just as they get older about knowing their
Courtesy.
space,
And
boundaries and stuff like that. And it's very important. And I thought it was interesting because it's actually technically like not her room. I know it was her room, but the fact that like he knocks, like he's a good dad. Like honestly, he's a
even
really good dad.
And looking at the last guy that she was with when she was with Raven, like he just barged right in, did all of that. And also someone in the chat, I believe it was Jazz, that she even mentioned, or maybe it was JT, I'm sorry if I'm mixing you guys up. Thank you so much for being so active in the chat, by the way. But when they said, Raven said, at least he only hits us. That only, oh God, that hurt. Because can you imagine? She said she had lost track of how many beds she had been in. And she gave the advice of when you find a place where you feel safe, stay there as long as you can.
And I love that they showed that scene and then cut to the episode where Deja's first at their house and she can't fall asleep and sits in the chair in their bedroom.
She says you can stay in the chair if you're scared. I was
Right.
like, oh my God, you're the cutest.
Because and there's a part of me when I was watching that episode wondering what made Deja go into that room. We all talked about it.
Exactly.
Did we think she was gonna get
Exactly.
hit? Did we think that she felt like she was gonna get molested? Like we didn't know what it was.
Right.
So now to see the flash of her, it almost kind of explains those little holes that we had about what made her feel that way, because she did get comfortable at some point. She like turned over and
And you don't want to be alone, because Raven even said at least we were together.
Together,
I don't
yeah.
want you to be alone, and now we're going to be alone. Well, now, I mean, she has two younger sisters that are there, or sisters, or I think they'll become sisters. I think Deja will
Oh,
stay
for
around for
sure.
a while. You know what I mean?
I wonder if Deja's gonna find. I have a lot of questions this episode. I wonder if Deja's gonna find Raven. Wouldn't it be awesome? Like to see what happened
Oh,
to her.
wow. I don't know how you would, though. I don't know how the
Yeah.
foster system works. I don't think you can get in touch with. I mean, there's a lot of siblings that get separated through the system and they don't find each other for years.
That's crazy. Well,
Like
I mean, right now
years.
she's 16, so when she turns 18, you're not in foster care anymore after 18, are you?
No, you're not under the
No.
system anymore, but you can be like, you can stay, I think. They would officially have to adopt you, but at 18, it wouldn't really matter if they adopted you or
Maybe
not.
Randall will adopt Raven too.
Where's Raven?
Where's Raven? That's so Raven. No.
Right. Wrong
That was
Raven.
really bad. I'm so sorry, guys. That was a really bad pun.
Yeah,
I'm
but I
sorry.
think it was good to see, that because she doesn't have siblings, so for her to have like those moments with Raven, and you see like she sort of had a childhood where she had like these learning experience where she dealt with stealing, and then she was impacted by Raven, like you said, saying that it was Jazz who said he was like, well, at least he just hits us. So one, can you imagine what else Raven has experienced if she's saying that just all I'm getting is a hit, so that's worthy enough for me to take it or deal with it. But I'm glad that Deja was able to have that memory for her, and that be the catalyst for her to let me not ruin this and go get in this bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were excited about the dance too, and I'm sure every time they move
yeah.
from foster home to foster home, they have to go into a new school system. Can you imagine what it's like already? For me, junior high was very hard. I'm sure everyone had some form of bullying when they were younger, but just to keep bouncing from school to school, not really feeling like you have an identity in like a home, a bed, or a school. And even when Deja's dancing on the drill team and the
Right.
teachers like come dance, the cops walk in and Deja just knows like they're there for
Instinctively,
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
Ugh.
But way to end up with Randall and Beth. Like, it doesn't get any better than that. She
I
went through
know.
all that crap to end up with the two best
So much
loving
to look
parents.
forward to.
And especially
so
the
much.
little girls, they were so excited. They're like, oh my God, Deja's back.
Yeah.
They're so good because that's their play person. They get to have a new person in their home. I don't know. I get really excited when kids.
You guys, I
get
love this
happy.
episode. I know we always say
I really loved
it's
this
so
episode.
depressing. We cried. I feel like everything in this, not everything, but everything in regards to Deja kind of came full circle.
Yeah, I had a lot
feel
of
complete.
questions answered.
Yeah, and I'm glad that they gave us that because we had wanted to know all this stuff about Deja, and they gave us an episode that was centered around her. Lyric Ross is her name. Yeah. Deja, she plays Deja, so shout out to her. And then Kay, who's usually in the chat, she wrote the episode.
Yeah, so, Kay.
Amazing job.
Come on, Kay, where are you? Tell us what you thought.
What do you think, Kay? What thoughts were going through your mind when you were writing this?
And it's amazing because she writes the episode, but it's a piece of paper with writing compared to like actually seeing it come to life.
Can you imagine what that feels like to have your words brought from here to like that epic performance?
Living,
like, oh
right?
God, it's beautiful. And again, I kudos to the whole team because it's not just the actors too. It's the showrunners, it's the producers, it's the writers, it's the DP, like certain angles of like getting that moment and then the music that they put over top. Like it's a full team effort to make like all of this incredibleness come to TV.
When Milo won the award for the whole cast, that's the one thing he said. He's like, this is not just us. Like, we're all great actors. We're one big family, but it's everybody. It's a full effort to make this show happen.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And I think it's just, I don't know, it's just so beautiful. I love watching Mandy Moore's stuff about it and everything, and to see like the camaraderie that she posts on her Instagram stories, and like just the different clips of like behind the scenes of how they did this and how they did that. I just think it's really, really, like, that's the type of work experience I would want.
Exactly.
You know?
Super solid.
Okay, is it time?
Super solid.
Talk about Kate's wedding. No?
She really wants to jump forward, so I guess we can go into predictions.
Right, we got one episode left.
One, guys. One left of season 2.
Well,
you freaked out when you saw like older
I know.
Jack with like white salt and pepper hair.
She did.
She's like, he's back from the dead. I'm like, this is not a soap opera.
I did not say that. I did not say that.
I'm like, this is not a soap opera. This is not General Hospital.
I did not say that.
He did not come back to life.
Listen, between the two of you, I feel like I need some space to watch the
Fine, you can watch it on the other side of the studio. We'll sit over there. You can do your thing.
It's all about Jack.
I love me some Jack. I love me some Milo.
You guys, but can we talk about Kate's face? Like this short little 3-second glimpse that they show us. She looks... she doesn't look, it's not that she looks sad. Like, what does she look? I'm trying to think of the word.
I feel like there's just such like a completely different amount of emotions. Like it's a serendipitous moment because you're finally getting married, but then your father's not there. And,
that's what it was. She's walking down the aisle without her dad.
Yeah.
Like there's such like excitement and joy, yet sorrow intermixed. And like that right there, like kudos to her, because that's a lot of emotion to exude from your eyes.
Mm-hmm. And then Toby's face.
I love seeing the groom's face.
I'm excited.
That's the best thing.
I'm super excited. So, well, before we go to predictions, you want to talk about American Idol?
Yeah, we got some other shows coming on. So, I don't know about y'all, but I love American Idol. And that was like my first like big show. I loved Kelly Clarkson.
It was like the first of them all.
It was. The singing competition that started it all and revolutionized TV has a new home, and it's on ABC. So switch it over. It's ABC now. What was it, Fox before? Right?
Yep.
Fox. Mm-hmm. Well, it's American Idol on ABC now, guys. And the search for a superstar begins on an all-new American Idol on ABC, and guiding the contestants along the way are an esteemed panel of judges. We've got pop icon
wow,
I can't talk anymore. Katy Perry, country superstar Luke Bryan, who was on GMA this morning, which I love, and country superstar Lionel Richie. I don't think that Lionel Richie. There's a little bit of a typo. We'll just say superstar.
Yes.
Lionel Richie is there.
Maybe he secretly loves country. Who knows?
I'm sure he does. I'm sure he loves all music. And they'll be joined by Emmy-winning producer and personality Ryan Seacrest, of course, as host of the beloved series. American Idol is the only singing competition to go around the country auditioning hundreds of singers in the search for the most talented and undiscovered performers, and their stories are diverse as America. I auditioned for American Idol once upon a time. True story. Contestants from all over the country will audition for the golden ticket to Hollywood. Come on over to Hollywood. Hollywood. You'll never leave. And get their chance to light up the world with their voice and their heart. It's one of the most anticipated series of television season, and it begins on Sunday, March 11th. So that's this Sunday, this coming up Sunday at 7 Central, right after America's Funniest Home Videos on America's Network, ABC. So March 4th through 10th, American Idol journey begins on Sunday, At 8, so I wasn't supposed to read that, but you know what? I did, so I'm just going to continue saying it. You were like, wait, what?
Sunday, American Idol, watch it.
Thank you.
Right.
They're coming
Set
in
your
clutch.
clocks forward, spring forward.
Are we
Daylight
springing?
savings time.
No,
Yeah,
this weekend?
I'm pretty sure.
Are you sure?
Okay, I'll look.
Hold
but
on, I'm going to
pretty
ask Siri on this one.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, well, you can continue, but yes, American Idol is coming on this Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. I'll tell you for
Well, you
springing
guys get a
forward.
new show anyways because This Is Us goes to a season finale next Tuesday.
It's perfect
So
timing.
this is going to be your guilty pleasure after
Come on
This Is
over.
Us.
Mhm.
Yes.
I love it. We're looking spring forward. You got spring forward, and I'll just keep talking? All right, I'm going to let him handle this
are you guys
while we
looking
keep
at?
talking about time change. Thank you, Melissa. There's a time change. Luckily, iPhones change it for you, so you never have to worry about it.
You always can
What
remember.
would we do
fall
without
back-
iPhones?
What would we do without you? What would I do without you?
Yes.
Well, you would be watching the wedding next week without me if I wasn't here.
I was making a reference to
To the
Shauna,
show,
but
yeah.
sure.
Anyways, I do want to say that I
Oh.
was right.
That went right over my head.
I know you missed it. I'm
Just like that little
yeah.
plug of March
See,
4th
Jazz
through 10th
says
went over
go
my
home,
head.
you're drunk. Honestly,
Right?
it sounds about right.
I'm not, though, guys. I promise.
She
I
is,
just
though.
can't talk anymore.
Right. But daylight savings time is this weekend, and you can remember fall back, spring forward. It'll never change.
Jazz, I love you so much. Thank you.
Okay, wedding. Let's talk about the wedding.
Take it away on
and
the wedding, 'cause you are
prediction.
loving the
What-
wedding.
Yeah, what do you predict?
Yes.
Honestly, I think it's gonna be one of those weddings where, like, when Kate's walking down, she sees her dad. Like, she looks over, her dad's walking her down,
Well, we
and
know
then
we see Jack.
we see him embracing Rebecca. We don't see him embracing Kate. Okay, drunk one.
That is an inaccurate statement. I am not drunk.
But I'm excited because I think it was an outdoor wedding from what it like seemed. She looked stunning in her dress, so I'm so glad that she found a white dress. So I'm super excited to see her dress.
I loved seeing the brothers behind her. Even in these short clips, like their face, they were so proud. Just so proud of
They
her.
better not pull some stuff on us that like Kate bounces or something like that.
Yeah.
Because
Well, we
as
see
the
her
season-
walking down the aisle. Is she going to do Runaway Bride and get on the horse
she
and
could
do the whole...
walk down and be like, "I'm sorry, like I can't do this. Like I thought I could, but I can't." That would be terrible. But it is
Some
a season
Bachelor
finale,
stuff.
and
Right.
knowing This Is Us, they're gonna throw something at us.
They are going to throw
True.
something at us. I predict that her wedding is going to go through fine. She's
Okay,
going to have
good.
these moments
I like
of
your
flashback.
prediction.
But bigger still, this is like the finale. So I'm trying to think, what can we predict? Like, what's going to happen? What are they going to
Something
leave
big's
us
gonna
with?
happen.
That's a little
Sophie
bit
shows up pregnant.
Okay.
When would that have happened, Lena?
No.
What do you mean? They were together for months. Maybe she gets pregnant and doesn't want to tell him because he's in a bad place.
But he went to go see her.
Like a month after, or like 2 months after, you still
All
don't
right,
show. And
I-
she was wearing a sweater, you guys.
I think that
that'll
that's wishful
happen.
thinking,
I
but
do
you
wanna
know.
shout out Jazz in the chat. Will Lena riot if Miguel walks her down the aisle?
She'll just throw
If
down the
Miguel
mic and
walks
just be like,
Kate
I'm
down
out.
the aisle, right? Would you watch?
I mean,
What if something happens to Rebecca?
No.
like,
No.
what if Jack is taking her to the afterlife? Oh my God.
Okay,
I wasn't going that far, okay? I'm just saying, what if something happens to her?
What
don't-
happened?
She's
trying to think.
older.
She's older. I don't see
She's
something
in-
happening to her only because I think that they do want to give it. Kate does deserve her wedding. She does deserve like this
Yes, she does,
moment.
but life happens, man.
It does, but a lot of life has happened to her. I think that they should give her wedding like seamlessly.
Right.
Honest,
give
she had a
her-
miscarriage, then she's gonna lose her wedding. What else is left?
Lose her wedding.
right? I
Lose
think
her
not-
mom?
No,
During
like
her
lose her wedding. Like if the wedding doesn't happen.
Ah,
yeah.
I got
think
you. I got you.
it needs to be, it has to be somebody else. Like who else?
Miguel.
Who's left? Miguel, we haven't seen much of Miguel.
we're really rioting against Miguel.
We really
Actually,
didn't get to
I would
learn-
love in season 3 to have an episode about Miguel like we
Thank
had
you.
with Deja. I think that we
I was
need
gonna say
that.
that. Yeah, we didn't get to learn much about him this season as well.
And you know what? Also, side note, and I know we're in predictions, but the fact that when they were doing the Goodnight Moon, or was it Goodnight Moon, but the book? Yes. When everyone was reading they read the same book.
Yeah.
Jack was reading his little brother that book. And
Yeah,
there was
you
a
guys-
flash of that, and
Why
I was just
have we
like,
not
oh,
seen anything about what happens to Jack and his brother
I
in
think
the
we're not
military?
going to see that till next season.
Yeah, you can't throw us that at the same time
We're
as the
not
wedding.
going to get
just
that at
doesn't
the
make
wedding.
sense.
Oh no.
No.
We gotta
I
have
think it's
something
too
to
big
look
of a
forward
story
to.
for them to even just put a glimpse.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that. But I mean, we're going to see flashbacks of like Jack talking to Kate about when she gets married, which I think is a common conversation between dads and daughters of like, you need to find yourself a good man or a man that treats you or blah, 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 blah. I think that, I mean, I've had those conversations.
I think
growing up, you know, like the little, not, you need to get married, blah, 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 blah. It just find you a man that's going to do
we're
X, Y, and
definitely
Z.
going to have those flashbacks. But I do think something big is going to happen. And I actually think it has nothing to do with the wedding. Like, maybe
I don't think it'll be with the
nothing
wedding.
to do with the wedding. I think they're just
No.
setting it up that way. But I don't know why. I think it has something to do with Toby.
No, you can't take Toby from her.
Because that would just be messed up. But I
No.
don't know why. Like, something just told me, like, it has something to do with Toby.
We shall see. I don't know. I'm looking forward to flashbacks.
I've got anticipation, like a little bit of anxiety, just a little bit right here about all of this coming up.
But I do agree. I think it was, who said it? With JT. I do want to see the background of Beth. Like, we don't really know much about Beth.
We don't, and her mother's relationship either. Yeah.
Want to know about Miguel. And one more thing is, I want to know about Rebecca's mom. We kind of only saw like flashes of her.
They don't like Rebecca's mom
But
at
I want
all.
to see Rebecca's upbringing because obviously, if they're going to start introducing Jack and his childhood and what happened with his brother in the military, we saw Jack kind of going back and forth with his dad, his drinking problem, him growing up, the whole mechanical thing. I want to know more about Rebecca. I don't even know what kind of an upbringing she had. They haven't shown any kind of backstory. Wait, do you know something?
No, I'm wondering if they're gonna do. This is really out there, guys. So just bear with me. What if they do simultaneous weddings of if Jack was actually alive in a wedding without him?
Yeah.
Like the actual wedding, and then because we
then-
know that Jack's going to be there in some way, so it could be Rebecca just seeing him and hoping and wishing that he was there, but the way that his line was said, look at how much time has gone, Rebecca. Maybe they do show like how life could have been
No,
different.
that's what
if
I was
he,
anticipating.
Yeah,
From
That would be really
a few weeks ago when you called it saying that they were gonna bring him back or
In some
something.
way, yeah.
I think it'll be the reimagining of what the wedding
That would be a
with her.
lot to cover in one episode, though.
that would be amazing.
It's always
Because already
please.
but
one episode is too short.
that is a
Isn't-
lot,
yeah.
but I think
they could
that
do it.
is what they're
Weddings aren't that
going
long.
to do.
Weddings aren't that long. And again, guys, be sure. I think we kind of have to wrap it up because we've only got a couple more minutes.
Oh.
I know there's so much that we had to cover.
One thing I will say, I hope
Yes.
that we do get to see more of the flashbacks with the kids, y'all. I'm like obsessed with Lonnie, Travis, baby Randall.
Who? What? Huh?
Have you
following
seen him on the
him
red
all over.
carpet? He's a
so
star.
cool.
He is, like, and he takes
Like-
over all the Instagrams and him like his little
Right,
sauciness.
and
I'm like,
dancing. I love him so much.
I interviewed him at the what was it, Chicago. Oh yeah, the Chicago the show on is it Showtime? I forget what it's called.
Okay.
the
one
Shy.
The Shy, sorry, the
Okay.
Shy. The Shy with
Showtime.
yeah, where Lina's the executive producer.
Yes.
I cannot tell you he was on the carpet. He was like the highlight of the carpet. Everybody wanted to talk to him, his outfits, his personality.
Yeah, I love
Anyways,
him.
That's
so
when
much.
you know that
We
you've
love
got a
Big
star
Randall
on your hands.
and we love Little Randall.
I'm obsessed with them both.
and Middle Randall.
I love
Middle
No,
Randall.
I really like Middle Randall watching that show with Kate on the couch pretending like he likes it.
Oh. I just love all of them. I think they're all fantastic, and I am really excited to see how all of this ends and to see what we have to anticipate for season 3. I know, but again, because This Is Us is coming to an end, don't forget that we do have other shows that are going on. Be sure to turn into American Idol. The American Idol journey begins on Sunday, March 11th. Sunday, March 11th. Springing forward, like we said, at 8 to 7 Central, right after America's Funniest Home Videos on America's Network ABC. So be sure to go watch American Idol. And I believe we might be having an after show for it too. So be sure to check back on AfterBuzz TV. And thank you guys again so much for being so active in the chat.
Yes,
and
we love you
always
guys.
being here.
And let us know what you guys think is going to happen at the season finale because we just made up a bunch of stuff over here.
Exactly.
We're just rambling and we
Someone's
honestly,
gonna
we
die.
don't
Someone's
know.
coming back to life.
People are
the
having
wedding's
babies.
over.
They're
Our
all
pets' heads are
pregnant.
falling off.
Literally, we're guessing everything so that we can cover all the ground just in case we're right. And we'll be like, yes, we got it right.
Right.
And watch it be nothing of what we said.
I'm sure we'll be able to find like some articles this week, probably.
No, I
Oh, no,
hate
I don't want to do spoilers.
I didn't say it had to be a spoiler.
Oh, that's a
but-
good question. Jazz is asking who they think they're going to cast for the brother because they're casting it during the break.
Oh, I don't
Who
know.
looks like Jack?
Let's think about that and
Ooh,
let's
definitely hit us up on
decide this
social
week.
media.
Yeah.
Hit us up. Be sure to follow all of us. Be sure to subscribe and like and continue on the comments with This Is Us. You guys are amazing. Share this video so that we can have as many lovely people watching this next week's episode for the big finale of This Is Us after show. Again, my name is Candice Cruz. You can find me on all of my social media at Candice R. Cruz. And really hit me up, please. I love it. I love hearing from you guys.
She loves it. And please tell her what you think about when she cries about everything. I'm just kidding.
That's fine. Make memes. I'm fine with it. I don't care.
And I'm Lina Noory. You can find me all over the internet at Lina Noory. And please comment below. Let me know what you guys think is going to happen next week's episode, because I'm going to be dreaming about it every night.
Oh my gosh. I'm super excited as well. I'm Keith Andre. You can follow me all over social media at Keith_Andre. Me and Lina are sitting next to each other. We don't have no beef.
Y'all going back and
Kate's
forth.
getting married. Kate's getting married.
And guys,
Kate's getting married.
You got a weekend full of entertaining TV. Be sure to tune in to SNL on Saturday. Watch our favorite Sterling K. Brown host
Yes,
SNL.
Sterling.
And then American Idol, The Journey begins on Sunday, March 11th, 8 to 7. And we'll see you guys next week on Tuesday.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.